Alright, this is the abxylute M4, a magnetic snap-on controller built for quick anywhere gaming on your phone. And before anything else, yes, this is a prototype, the retail version is on its way, and I'll update my impressions once it lands. Abxylute already confirmed several tweaks for mass production, I'll mention some as we go. So think of this as a hands-on preview, not the final verdict. The M4 is a Bluetooth controller that alternates between Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Android HID modes. It's meant for casual, quick sessions, a grab-and-go kind of product similar in intent to the MCON, which I'll touch on later. Essentially, it's a universal pocket companion for retro titles and light modern gaming, not built for sweaty FPS sessions, but perfect for on-the-go play. At launch, it'll go for $39 USD on Kickstarter via early bird pricing. Retail pricing hasn't been confirmed yet, but it'll likely rise post-campaign. The target is clear: budget entry, which it absolutely needs to maintain to compete in the space. Quick note, the sliders that act as sticks don't click like traditional analogs. Rather, think 3DS sliders. L3 and R3 aren't physically present on this prototype, though abxylute says a button combination shortcut will be added later on the retail units. So you'll never get that tactile click, but you'll still be able to trigger those inputs. Now, this prototype was provided by abxylute for early review. They were transparent about minor issues, a bit of joystick friction, a slight magnetic wobble and misaligned stand, and some accidental button overlap when pressing too hard. All of that is being revised for the retail model, so today's focus is more on design, feel, and just overall impressions. Also, since this is a Kickstarter product, expect typical wait times, a few weeks or even months depending on fulfillment. It comes in multiple colors. Personally, that orange version would pair beautifully with my 17 Pro. There's definitely one for every taste. The face buttons are membrane based and stiff. If you're familiar with older handhelds or older controllers, you'll recognize that firm, mushy but snappy resistance. Not premium, not awful either, and their small size help prevents accidental presses. The D-pad also uses a membrane, but it feels better suited here. It's larger than expected with a defined center pivot that allows input from the middle without triggering directions. Corners are a little steep and the bottom left frame slightly intrudes when pressing down. Not a deal breaker, but noticeable. The slope around the controls is odd, maybe for grip or strengthening the unit. Either way, it's functional and comfortable enough as it is. While the sliders are interesting, like what was on a PSP or 3DS, still they're not built for precision, more for directional controls or replacing a D-pad in areas where it makes sense. You'll notice things like axis snapping, tight circularity, and a very steep ramp curve, which makes aiming in shooters tricky to not say impossible. Still, having any form of analog inputs at this size is impressive. For retro systems like PSP, they're a nice addition. If you use the 8-bit Do Micro, think of the M4 as its taller, more capable cousin. The shoulder buttons L1, L2, R1, R2 are digital with a short clicky throw. They feel inexpensive but functional, better than what's on the 8-bit Do Micro, though still horizontally stacked. Given the form factor, it's not a huge issue, but they're definitely the least satisfying buttons on the controller. Perfectly fine for retro games, but not great for fast-paced modern titles that'll require rapid actuation of them. Charging is handled through the USB-C, which technically also carries data if plugged into a PC. That said, I wouldn't rely on it as a wired controller. Based on my time with the abxylute S8, another controller from the brand, it's clear these are designed for Bluetooth first operation. Wired mode seems more for debugging than daily use. Ergonomics is where the M4 caught me off guard. At 55 grams, it's feather light, and the magnetic snap-on design attaches cleanly to any MagSafe compatible phone. Comfort-wise, it's decent, not ideal for marathon sessions, but perfect for quick bursts. It's far more practical than those bulky case-style controllers, and it even beats gimmicky designs like the Game Baby I reviewed earlier. You can detach it, prop up your phone with the magnetic ring as a kickstand, and play tabletop style via Bluetooth. It's all very flexible. Don't expect gyro or rumble, as neither are part of this product, which is fine. Their absence keeps the weight down and battery life up, which is far more important for a pocket-sized controller like this. It's meant to replace touchscreen controls, not compete with your full-sized gamepad. If you've seen my 8BitDo Micro or 02 videos, this sits in a similar space, only better in every way. At comparable prices, Absolute's design feels more like a complete product with wider compatibility. Now, compared to the MCON, it's a completely different story. The MCON completely outclasses it, but it's also 4 times the price. I doubt the M4 is trying to win the specs race, rather it's looking to carve itself in your backpack or glove box as a play anywhere device. And so if your daily gaming is 30 to 60 minutes of commute-friendly retro sessions, this fits the bill perfectly. But if you're into Minecraft, COD Mobile, or anything needing L3 and R3 and precise camera controls, this won't cut it. Well, it will play those games, but you probably won't like the experience. There's no companion app for this model. Absolute does have its hub ecosystem, but there's no indication that the M4 will tie into it. Everything from pairing, turbo, and input tweaks is all handled through onboard button combinations, and honestly, that's all it needs. Battery life is rated between 10 and 13 hours depending on the mode. That's more than plenty for something this small, especially since it weighs less than a deck of cards. And to conclude this first impression, the Absolute M4 is a refreshing take on mobile controllers. It's light, it's flexible, and surprisingly practical. It's not trying to replace your telescopic controllers at home, but rather give you a portable throw-in-your-bag option that's always ready. For the early bird price of $39 US, it's a solid pickup. At $50, it's sort of acceptable. Beyond $59, I'd say look elsewhere. The 8BitDo solution or even the MCON makes more sense despite the price gap. If you're after a pocket-sized controller for short, casual gaming bursts, this might be your ideal travel companion, which I'll revisit once the final retail unit ships to see how those magnets, buttons, and overall feel have improved. And that's it for now. If you've got questions, drop them below. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking or subscribing, and the bell is optional. My name is Clev. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.